And we are live. Welcome back to Takes by Fans. We have a great show for you today. As always, we are live every single day at noon Eastern. If you want to watch live, head over to twitch.tv/takesbyfans. If you want to watch but not live, head over to our YouTube channel, Takes by Fans. We post all of our shows and clips of the show there on a daily basis. And if you just want to listen, we are on podcasting apps, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio. So however you want to watch or listen, we've got you covered multiple ways. Alrighty, today is a big old Monday, first day of March, folks. We are super close to March Madness. We will be breaking it down and, going kind of in depth into March Madness coverage. So if you're a big fan of March Madness, you can still hang around here. We'll probably go a little bit lighter on the NBA, maybe not spending so much time on it to try and, fit the March Madness into our show. But, we do have the NBA All-Star break coming up, so we can get some nice, good depth days into those days as well. But we'll be filling out our brackets, just kind of like how everybody else does March Madness, folks. You haven't watched a lick of college basketball all season up until now. Brackets should be coming out, I'm assuming, any day now, maybe later in the week. But we'll be filling that out live. We'll be breaking down all the teams live here on the show for the next probably month to get us, because we didn't have March Madness last year. It got robbed of us. Corona stole March Madness from us last year. So now we have to do it. We cannot wait to do it now. So we got 2 years of March Madness building up inside of us all, and we're about to let it release during this month. So that's what we got coming up for March. Going to be great. Cannot wait. And then for today, doing our day 15 of our NFL Draft Prospect of the Day. And today we are going to be looking at Mac Jones, the quarterback of Alabama. Now, he is a definitely interesting talent here. Had a fantastic year this season, 2020. Really got it done. So is he the future? We'll see. We'll break down the stats, watch some highlight tape on the man, and judge for ourselves and see, is Mac Jones, can he rival Trevor Lawrence for the #1 overall pick to Jacksonville? Probably not. I don't think anybody's going to do that, but it's a potential. You never know. Until that first pick is picked, you never know. But we do. But Trevor Lawrence will be it. But we'll see. We'll see what Mac Jones got. And then, as always, breaking down the NBA and doing our story. So let's jump right into it. Here we go. And well, we got this, and it kind of got blown up like 5 minutes ago, right before we went live. So, but I think we're going to go with it anyway. Here we go. J.J. Watt's Peloton bio was updated. Y'all know Peloton, the exercise bike that has the screen in it so you can, have virtual workouts with instructors and, the whole class thing. So J.J. Watt's Peloton bio was updated, and it reads, SB 56, Super Bowl 56, Green Bay, Cleveland, Buffalo. So is this his final 3 options? Well, we were thinking that until literally 10 minutes ago. At 11:54 a.m., J.J. Watt goes on Twitter, says, I don't own a bike. Stop. Stop. So he's putting an end to this kind of rumor already that, hey, this is fake. I don't own a Peloton. This is not me. I don't know who's doing this, but so it's a little interesting. We had this entire segment planned out. I guess we can still try to go along with it as well. So the 3 teams up here were Green Bay, Cleveland, and Buffalo. And if you remember of another rumor where his final 3 was, according to John Clayton, was the Titans, Bills, and Packers. So it gave a little credence, a little, to that kind of Peloton fake post that we know is now fake, that Buffalo and Green Bay are definitely suitors, definitely kind of in the main running for J.J. Watt. Titans and Browns were getting, different information. Obviously the fake, we obviously don't know who wrote that, so maybe the Titans are still up there, but the 2 teams that were in common with that kind of fake Peloton bio is the Bills and the Packers. So let's just kind of take them as kind of the gospel of where J.J. Watt is going, and let's go back to his previous kind of cryptic tweets that we've been saying. The first one, there's 2 tweets that we've found kind of in the past month that we thought were clues of where J.J. Watt is going. The first one is the video of his wife in the wedding dress eating wings, Buffalo wings. I don't even think Green Bay has wings. They've got cheese. They know nothing about the chicken, folks. And then look at the emojis at the bottom of the screen, the red and blue heart. That's also not Green Bay. Green and yellow. Buffalo is blue and red. So the first clue of the 3 spots that we know J.J. Watt is potentially going to, this one is definitely matching Buffalo all the way. And then we go to his second cryptic tweet. which is all blue and red, literally everywhere. Blue chairs, blue and red on the television, blue flowers, blue mugs. It's just only blue and red. There is no green or yellow in sight. So once again, I think we have to double down and say that J.J. Watt is 100% going to Buffalo. We know that Buffalo is one of the main teams he wants to go to. Cryptic tweets of wings and blue and red everywhere. He's a blue-collar guy. Buffalo is a blue-collar town. They've got a rising Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen and J.J. Watt would probably get along very, very nicely. So I think we have to call it here, folks. J.J. Watt, we are sticking with our pick that he is going to be a Buffalo Bill. So once again, congratulations, Bills Mafia. You're going to get a good one here in J.J. Watt, folks. And now, maybe clean up that defense a little bit more. Josh Allen cleans up his offense a little bit more. I mean, you guys made it to the AFC Championship game last year, so now, I mean, you can go to the Super Bowl. I mean, getting this huge improvement on defense, he's definitely going to be a huge impact, especially in this AFC, chasing around Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes and all that great talent, and even Trevor Lawrence now that he's going to be Jacksonville quarterback. So a little unfortunate that J.J. Watt had to kind of, ruin our story here by, tweeting that he doesn't own a bike. You should have just let it play out. Let it play out. What's the worst that could happen, Fake people spreading rumors about you. What's the worst that could happen, J.J. Watt? So, interesting here. Who knows what's true? Who knows what's fake? I guess we have to just kind of keep John Clayton at his word here. I was about to call out John Clayton and be like, what are you talking about? J.J. Watt just said the Browns over the Titans. What were you thinking? But this one is still seeming to hold up true a little bit. So Buffalo, Green Bay, probably his two top destinations. And with those cryptic tweets, we're saying Buffalo, folks. All right, moving on. And now Deshaun Watson, a couple days ago, he kind of doubled down and saying, hey, I do not want to play here. Trade me. I do not want to play. And then we get more rumors saying that Deshaun Watson is willing to sit out regular season games, and we know that's going to cost him a lot of money. What is it, like is it $300,000 every single game? It's between $100,000 and $300,000 that he is going to forfeit in game checks every single game he does not play. So you're out 3 games. That's $1 million right off the rip right there. I mean, it's tough. I mean, how can you just go and surrender that money? But Deshaun Watson, he's believing in himself. He wants to get out of this dysfunctional organization that provides no support for true great players. They don't know a great player when they see one. They don't know great trades when they see one. I mean, the Dolphins just robbed them. Now we have their number 3 pick this year. I mean, they don't know what they're doing over there management-wise. That's why they've been kind of clearing house. They're trying to keep Deshaun Watson. He still does not want to he still does not want to be there. The relationship with Houston has, quote, too far gone, according to Deshaun Watson. So, I don't even know where he would go. Obviously, we want to see him in Atlanta. We're really not sure which teams are after him because Houston keeps on saying, hey, we're not taking calls on this man. So it's going to be an interesting offseason. I do not believe this is going to end soon. This is going to come probably be the earliest that Deshaun Watson either is confirmed staying or confirmed leaving Houston is going to be after the draft. That will be the first time. Let's see what Houston does. Do they draft a quarterback? Do they trade some picks around? Do they try and, trade Deshaun Watson in like a pick deal? Let's trade him to Chicago and get Chicago's all of their picks for this entire draft, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 7th round and 6th round. We want those deep picks as well. We want all your picks. So that's going to be the earliest that I think that we see Deshaun Watson kind of moved or is confirmed staying is the draft. But it could go all the way up to probably before the preseason, before, the preseason games start, honestly. So get in, buckle up for the long haul on Deshaun Watson. We'll know J.J. Watt well before we know where Deshaun Watson goes, if he goes anywhere at all. But I definitely stand by this, man. Definitely do what you think is best. I mean, you've got the leverage. You have the leverage in this. Hey, I'm a great player, and you are in the business of winning football games. Here we go. What do y'all want to do? Because I don't want to be here anymore. So definitely stand with Deshaun Watson. Do what you think is best. You're a great talent. I know you don't want your kind of Hall of Fame career being settled here in Houston while, Patrick Mahomes is winning championships. Lamar Jackson is getting close. And, I mean, Buffalo's close. I mean, so many teams in the AFC are close to winning championships. Deshaun Watson knows he needs to win now. And Houston is not going to win ever. They will. I'll double down. They will never win a championship, ever. All right, here we go. Moving on. Washington is expected to part ways with quarterback Alex Smith. We've been kind of seeing this for a little bit now, but it is kind of almost confirmed. It's like 99.9% confirmed right now. So once again, it is unfortunate for Alex Smith here. I mean, he's a great story coming back, getting his leg getting absolutely demolished, coming back and playing, and he had a decent season, nothing great. And this is why you have to move off of Alex Smith here if you're Washington. He provided a good kind of start here for this kind of new age of Washington football here, but Taylor Heineke definitely has to take over. He was the best quarterback of the three last season, or you go and draft a quarterback and, you know, see how he competes with Taylor Heineke come in this offseason. But back to Alex Smith, where can he go? I really don't think anywhere. I think his career unfortunately has to be over. He's 36. Yes, like let's just look at his stats. I mean, you can tell right off the rip there, it's nothing great. Now, he did lead his team to 5-1 record this season. Not bad, but we know the defense was really kind of the majority of their success really throughout this entire season. We see 66% completion percentage, absolutely fantastic. That's we love that. We love 62 to 65, and if you're above 65, that's definitely what we're talking about here. So very well done on the completion percentage. 1,500 yards, which is about in 6 games. It's about, you know, 250 yards a game, about that. So kind of right on par with average. But then these touchdowns and interception ratios: 6 touchdowns, 8 picks. Not great. And when we look at his career, he never really threw a lot of touchdowns. I mean, the most touchdowns he ever threw in a season was 23, and then the next highest after that was 20. Or no, 26 was the highest, then 23, then 20. But look at all these teens: 18, 14, 17, 13, 18, 15, 10, 6. I mean, I know he only played 6 games this season, but still, he doesn't throw the ball that well. He doesn't, you know, score touchdowns, which you have to do, settling for field goals if you make it into the red zone, into kind of past midfield territory. So he doesn't throw a lot of touchdowns. We're seeing kind of a decent amount of picks with those kind of lack of touchdowns that he has. So nothing truly great here just in his entire career anyways. And then the biggest thing to look at is the yards per attempt. We're looking at only 6.3 yards per attempt. That's not yards per completion. That's just per attempt. So that accounts incomplete passes and complete. So he's really not airing out the ball. And you may be like, oh, 6.3 yards, that's kind of good. But let's compare it around the rest of the league. I mean, probably the two best, we're just going to go pure passing quarterbacks, because when we start talking about dual threat, then we're going to start talking about, they've got, the running aspect, so that helps them with the pass game. So let's just go pure passers. And, probably the two best pure passers of this season were definitely Aaron Rodgers. He just won MVP. He just won MVP this season, I'm pretty sure. So here we go. I mean, look what Aaron Rodgers does. Yards per attempt was 8.2, which I'm almost certain is the highest in the league. So, I mean, we're talking about 2 whole yards per attempt more than Alex Smith. And now let's go to probably the second best pure passer in this league right now is probably Tom Brady. And even Tom Brady was averaging 7.6 yards per attempt. Now let's start talking about kind of the bottom tier quarterbacks. A quarterback that we clown a lot is Mitch Scherbisky. Let's see where his yards per attempt is at. And he's got 6.9. So Mitch Scherbisky's even outperforming Alex Smith. Now, who is the worst quarterback of just this season alone? That's all we're talking about right now. It's just this season alone. We'd probably have to say Carson Wentz. It was a really flounder season. Of all the starting pure passing quarterbacks, we'd probably have to say that Carson Wentz was probably the worst one. And we see his yards per attempt is 6.0. So, I mean, Alex Smith just a hair better than Carson Wentz. And if we want to kind of get exactly what Alex Smith is of a quarterback right now, well, let's go to Big Ben, folks. We know the limited arm. We know he was a true gunslinger. But look at his yards per attempt this season. 6.3, exactly what Alex Smith's quarterback yards per attempt is. 6.3. He's Big Ben, folks, an aging Big Ben with not the cannon that he used to have. I mean, look at all these yards per attempt that Big Ben had in his career. 8.9, 8.9, 7.5, 7.8, 7.0, 8.6, 8.2, 7.9, 7.3, 7.3, 8.1, 8.4, 7.5, 7.5, 7.6, 7.6, 5.7. That was in 2019, and then 6.3 this season. So we can clearly see the drop off, and that's what Alex Smith is, folks. It's unfortunate. Now, I understand he's only working with Terry McLaurin, and that's really it. So I get that, but still, at the end of the day, you have to elevate the play around you. you can't just be like, well, I have no great wide receiver, so I guess we can't win a ring this season. You can't play like that. So it is unfortunate. An aging 36-year-old Alex Smith coming back from that huge crippling injury, 6.3 yards per attempt this season, 8 interceptions, 6 touchdowns, and yes, I get it, only 6 games started, but still, I think it's over for Alex Smith, and like we say, it is truly unfortunate because of the kind of the heart and the grit that he plays with, but I think that's it. I think he has to kind of ride off in the sunset, go off on top. This was a great season for him. Don't kind of hang around too long and then kind of be an afterthought, be like, oh yeah, Alex Smith, yeah, he was pretty good, but then he got injured. Oh, but then he came back, and then he just really was looking really not good. Like that, I don't want that to be Alex Smith's legacy, his story 10, 15 years down the road of when Takes by Fan is still, on the air, and, somebody brings up Alex Smith, and we have to go kind of look at him and be like, damn, why did he stay 2 extra years long and just kind of ruin kind of just his image and his stats and his kind of just overall totality of what he did in the NFL. So if he wants to play, great for him. Definitely do it if that's his prerogative. We're not trying to stop him from playing. I just don't know who's going to take that. Who's going to take 6.3 yards per attempt? I just don't know. I mean, Pittsburgh's like, yeah, Big Ben, you can play, but we're going to pay you in like double cheeseburgers from McDonald's. Like, we're not paying you any real money. So we'll see. We'll see what Alex Smith has got for the rest of his career, but definitely not here in Washington. And I don't know many teams that are going to be looking for an Alex Smith type of quarterback right now. Alrighty, let's move on to a potential new great quarterback. Here we go. Tua says that he sees greatness in former Alabama teammate Mac Jones, saying that he's, quote, he's a more mobile Tom Brady. Well, that just puts a lot of pressure on Mac Jones right off the rip. We've been trying not to compare any quarterback that we've been watching in our NFL draft prospect series over the last 15 days. We're trying not to compare anybody to Tom Brady because, I mean, just winning 7 rings alone is just pretty much unattainable right now. I don't think anybody else is going to do that. It's going to be kind of a once-in-a-generation player, just like Tom Brady was. So we're trying to compare everybody to like Aaron Rodgers, more of a realistic kind of 1 ring, decently competitive through his entire career, has the yards, has the stats, has all that. So putting a lot of pressure on Mac Jones here, saying he's a more mobile Tom Brady. Well, we're breaking him down today in our NFL draft prospect segment. So we will have to see if Tua is lying, trying to kind of, boost up his own teammate, which I'm pretty sure it is. I mean, saying somebody's a more mobile Tom Brady, I mean, that's just kind of crazy to say. So we'll see if, in fact, Mac Jones is a more mobile Tom Brady today when we look at his stats, look at his highlights, and see if this man can play. Alrighty, here we go. Another story here. And a 17th game for the NFL season in 2021 is, quote, highly likely, according to Peter King. Now, this extra game is a little different. So it's going to be AFC versus NFC, kind of that game, whether they move that to actually like week 17 or kind of like in the mid-season, like an AFC versus NFC thing. Not sure where they'll place this game, where this specific game will be played, but it will be a 17th game of the season, AFC versus NFC, and it's kind of going to go like this, like AFC North versus like NFC West, something like that. And then you take the top of that division in the AFC East, and let's just say the NFC North. So the ones of those two divisions go at it, the 2s in that division go at it, the 3s in that division go at it, and the 4s in that division go at it. So that will be that kind of extra game wherever they play it, whatever week they kind of make it, that kind of do they use the word here? What do they use? Interconference matchup. So we'll see when they'll play this game. I don't think it will be week 18 coming up because of the extra bye week. So 17 weeks, 16 games, 18 weeks, 17 games. So I don't know if they'll play this one like week 18 or something like that, but that's what we're looking at. Another game for 2021, which I'm all about. I mean, we can definitely use a couple more football games. Not many more. I would definitely be opposed to like 5 more, but 1, maybe even 2 more I'm definitely down with, especially with an expanded playoffs that we just saw this season. Once again, getting more teams involved. I mean, in the NFL, I mean, you're only playing 17 games, 16, 17 games, and, that's it. And like not a lot of players get into the playoffs, or not a lot of teams get into the playoffs. So I like expanding the playoffs, more games, games, more content, more kind of, all right, who are the real teams now? I mean, could you imagine what would have happened if there was another game this season? I mean, the Dolphins could have got in. We could have made up for that very, very lackluster Bills performance. The Steelers may have been totally knocked out because they floundered at the end of the season. So, another team is able to kind of get in because Pittsburgh started to fall off really hard at the end of the season. The Bucs, a potential them not even making the playoffs, potentially. But yeah, it would definitely change around the season a little bit. I'm all about adding an extra game. I've got no problem with that. And I kind of like the idea of, hey, if you're the number 1 seed here, you're going to face another number 1 seed here. Let's see what you got, and that's how they'll do it. But they would use it for the last season, so whatever happened in 2020, that would be the 2021 game. So it is a little confusing, but I think it's a definite fine move, and I've got no problem with it. All right, last 2 stories are here in the NBA, and I absolutely love this right here. Tom Thibodeau is, quote, open to bringing Karl Anthony Towns to the Knicks. I mean, could you imagine the Knicks with a fantastic big? Oh, boy, now I think they could rival the Nets a little bit. I mean, you got a nice big, you're deep, you've got some nice kind of starters there as well. So I would definitely love to see if Tom Thibodeau could bring Karl Anthony Towns to the Knicks. I would love him to do it this season. I want to see it this season because this is when the Knicks are kind of thriving with all this momentum. I don't know how they'll be next season, but for right now, if they get Karl Anthony Towns, it would have to probably be in a trade before the trade deadline. Don't really know what they would have to give up. Probably a lot. Hopefully, they would probably have to give up all their future draft picks if they want Karl Anthony Towns. But I mean, I think it's a great play for them. Getting an actual true superstar on that team with all those great role players that are definitely playing so freaking great this season. I could see the Knicks definitely easily beating that first round of the playoffs, and then in the second round, whoever they have to get matched up against, whether, I think they're the 4th seed right now, which is good. So they would have to play, the number 1 seed, which would be the 76ers, and you get Karl Anthony Towns versus Joel Embiid. I think they can give them a run for their money in 7 games. I want to see this happen so freaking bad. The Knicks need something if they kind of want to make that next step. They've already made such a huge step from last season to this season, already in the playoffs right now, but if they want to make that next step, if they want to compete for a title, right now they're just competing for playoff positioning, but if they want to go and compete for an NBA championship, they got to get that superstar, and I definitely think Karl Anthony Towns could be that kind of piece that could help open up this Knicks kind of offense a little bit more, better defense, and make them true championship contenders. So I am definitely all about this. Go get it done, Tom. Whatever it takes. You have our endorsement here at Takes by Fans. We will back you up. If you have to go and answer to the GM of why you've traded your next 10 first-round picks in the drafts coming up, you can go, well, Takes by Fans agrees that, hey, Karl Anthony Towns could definitely make us a championship contender. So I went out and did it. You can put the blame on me, Tom. I've got no problem with that. So Karl Anthony Towns to the Knicks. Let's make that happen. I definitely want to see that. Alrighty, and then the last story of the day, here it is. John Wall, well, the Rockets just lost their 11th straight game, and that does not surprise us. We've been telling y'all the Rockets are truly trash without their big 3, and they've lost 11 straight games because of that. So we get a quote here by John Wall, quote, "This shit is ass, period. Terrible." That's the quote. So, yes, I mean, we know this. The John Wall and Victor Oladipo, whether they play together or not, it doesn't matter. They will not win. They need that big. They need Christian Wood in that starting lineup if they want to have a chance. I mean, folks, we just took the Grizzlies -4 last night over the Rockets, and the Grizzlies won by like 40 points. I mean, this is what we're talking about, folks. It's just so easy. This Rockets team is nothing great. They had that week and a half, that magical week and a half where we were riding high on the Rockets because it was John Wall, Victor Oladipo, Christian Wood, but now no Christian Wood. Victor Oladipo's out every other game, and now John Wall saying this shit is ass. Terrible. I mean, not great. Not great at all. 11 straight losses for this Rockets team. Truly unfortunate. They were close, folks. They were close to being contenders. Decent playoff competition there, and they blow it because they start trading away DeMarcus Cousins. Everybody is not playing on the same night. Christian Wood got injured, derailed everything, and now here we are. 11 straight losses for the Rockets. Not great at all. I would say trash. We'll call it trash. All right, those are all the stories that we needed to cover for today. So let's head over to the NBA. Let's quickly kind of go over what happened in these games. We'll go a little bit deeper into the stats. We'll do our moneymaker for tonight's action, and then we'll head over to our NFL draft prospect of the day, Mac Jones, quarterback of Alabama. See what he's got. Alrighty, so here we go in the NBA, Clippers, Bucks, and this was the only game in our moneymaker we missed. We trusted this Clippers team. Unfortunate for us. I mean, we look like clowns because the Clippers were super unclutch in the final kind of 3 minutes in this game, where the Clippers had a nice little 4-point lead brewing kind of late in the fourth quarter, and then the Bucks come back, and the Clippers literally went scoreless for the last 4 minutes of this game. We've got the clips of it. We're going to show it when we break down this game a little bit more, but just needed the Clippers to be clutch, somebody to step up and be clutch. And how are y'all not clutch when you're so well rested? Kawhi Leonard missing a ton of shots in those final 4 minutes. Paul George missing shots in those final 4 minutes. There's just nobody stepping up, and you are well rested. You're probably the most well rested superstars in this league. Could you imagine LeBron if he was as well rested as Kawhi Leonard and Paul George? LeBron James has still not missed a game yet this season. I mean, it's truly getting a little bit too much for this Clippers team. This is why we're 100% sold off this Clippers team. We will not put them in the top 10. Probably won't put them in the top 10 in our final power rankings before the NBA All-Star break because of this huge loss over the Bucks. Super over this Clippers team. Nobody's clutch. Nobody's consistent over them, and they ruined our parlay because we had to go, and we hit 2 of 3 last night. Super unfortunate. We try to squeeze the Clippers in there in our winning moneymaker, and they bite us in the butt. Classic Clippers. So the Bucks get the win 105-100. All right, Wizards, Celtics. This was the game that we actually hit in our moneymaker. Wizards +6, and we knew that was great value. Jaylen Brown didn't even play for the Celtics. Made it even better. We thought he would go. We saw him as a game-time decision. We thought he would play, and we still loved the Wizards +6. So without him playing, we love them even more. The Wizards lose, but they only lose by 1. +6, bingo, bango. That's a hit. Yes, sir. We knew the Wizards would be at least competitive in this game. They are still being competitive in these games. Just unfortunately, Jason Tatum kind of hit the game winner on him. Unfortunate. And Bradley Beal had a little unfortunate error at the end of the game. We got that film as well. We'll break it down, that kind of ending of the game. But the Wizards should have won it. Unfortunate. They lose by 1. We'll show you what we mean when we say the Wizards should have won it. But Bradley Beal, I mean, all that talk and, saying that he's the best player here and, having bad kind of body language against his teammates. And then he's the one that kind of beefs the game for him here. So, come on, Bradley Beal. Let's be a little bit more inspiring to your team. You're not flawless either, my guy. Even though you're dropping 46 points a game, you're still hurting your team at the end of the day. So it's unfortunate. But Celtics get the win 111-110. And we hit our moneymaker because of that. All right, moving on to Knicks and Pistons. Love to see this. A big old win by the Knicks, 109-90. It's just, this Knicks team is good. We'll see who stepped up. Was it the starters? Was it the bench? Was it a combination of the two? We'll see what we get when we break down the stats. All right, Hawks and the Heat, and this Hawks team, I mean, this is what I'm talking about, just not winning the games they're supposed to win. This Heat team had no Jimmy Butler, and they still win 109-99. Just unfortunate. Nobody else can get it done for this Hawks team. John Collins had a good game here, putting up 34 points and 10 rebounds, but still, at the end of the day, he's not getting it done consistently. We'll see, if John Collins steps up, that probably means that somebody else didn't step up, probably Trae Young. We'll see what his points was, but all these players need to start stepping it up. And if it's not Trae Young, it's somebody else. And if it's Trae Young, it's nobody else. And it's just nobody on the same page on the same night. So Hawks still not great here. We're still selling all of our Hawks stock, unfortunately. Losing against this Heat team with no Jimmy Butler. Not the best look for them. All right, our last game in our moneymaker, the Grizzlies and Rockets. Grizzlies -4, and folks, they win 133-84. The Rockets put up 84 points. That's like a 50-point. Is that a 49-point win by the Grizzlies? Just absolutely disgusting if you're a Rockets player, fan, anything like that. But we knew this. We knew this was tremendous value. We took it. Grizzlies -4. We should have taken them. Grizzlies -40. Do you know how much that would have paid, folks? John Morant and company gets it done. We can trust the Grizzlies when they go against lackluster teams, and this Rockets team is one of the most lackluster teams there are currently in the NBA. Not great. All right, Warriors, Lakers. Lakers get it done and really commanding win right from the jump. I mean, got out to a big lead, kept it for the entire game. I think the biggest lead of this game was about 30 points, something like that. I think it was exactly 30, but big old win for the Lakers here. Dennis Schroeder in the starting lineup is something that this Lakers team desperately needs. So they desperately need at least Anthony Davis or Dennis Schroeder. They get Dennis Schroeder back. They're winning games. That's not really too big of a surprise by us. Lakers win at 117-91. Suns beat the Timberwolves. Karl Anthony Towns needs to get out of there and go to New York. We all know this. But the Suns win 118-99 over the T-Wolves. And then the last game of the night, the Hornets upsetting the Kings 127-126 in kind of crazy fashion. We'll look at the kind of the final play. But an and one by the Hornets. They drain the free throw. They win by one. Swallow the whistle. Refs, come on. This is the umpteenth game this season that was decided literally by a whistle at the last play of the game. Not a big fan of it. Now we'll break down if the play was warranted of a foul or not, but still at the end of the day, I would like a no call there mostly every single time. It's just unless it's just so egregious that you have to blow the whistle, but I don't think this play in this Hornets Kings game was like that. All right, let's go a little bit deeper into these stats now. See who's doing good, see who's doing bad, see who we should start buying a little bit more, see who we should start selling a little bit more. And we'll start back at the top here. Clippers, Bucks, and we'll start with the Bucks since they won the game. Now, they only hit 12 three-pointers, a little light. Anything more than 10 is decent, but, obviously the more you go over 10, the better it is. So 12 threes by this Bucks team, not terrible. Giannis, 36 points, 5 assists, 14 rebounds, 4 of 6 from the free throw line, so, that's fine. 2 of 7 from 3. He's the one that's taking the most threes on this team. That's not what we want to see, especially with, Giannis is very poor because of Giannis's very poor free throw or three-pointer attempts here. So, not loving him taking 7 threes and nobody else taking 7 threes. Get those threes, and maybe even Chris Middleton if he's having a great night. Dante DiVincenzo if he's having a good night, which isn't that many nights. So Giannis, decent kind of classic performance by him. Chris Middleton, 19 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds. Him at the 3, I just don't love it. I do kind of think he plays a little bit better at the 2, but they rock with him back at the 3 here. Brook Lopez, 10 points, 3 rebounds, a +9 and a +- so not bad defense by him. Same thing with Dante DiVincenzo, pretty decent defense by him, a +11, but he also had 11 points and 7 rebounds, 1 of 5 from 3. That's where he needs to start to step it up a little bit more. He kind of needs to make himself the predominant lethal three-point shooting threat here on this team, but he doesn't really do it at all. DJ Augustine at the 1 here, 6 points, 2 assists, 2 rebounds on 40% shooting. He was a +17 and a +-, so once again, pretty good defensive night by him. And then off the bench, really nothing great. I mean, Bobby Portis, 9 points, 7 rebounds. That's not bad in 20 minutes. What else do we get here? Anything good? Pat Connaughton, 7 points, 8 rebounds in 27 minutes on 40% shooting. So once again, not too bad off the bench. Just barely escaped this Clippers team. There's really no reason why this Clippers team should lose to the Bucks. They have better three-point shooters, but they were not on last night, unfortunately. We see the Clippers, they made 14 threes, so only 2 threes made more than the Bucks did, and they still couldn't get it done. So let's try to figure out why. Kawhi Leonard, 25 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 47% shooting, 2 of 6 from 3, so kind of a classic Kawhi Leonard game. Nicholas Batum, 8 points, 6 rebounds. Serge Ibaka, 15 points, 11 rebounds. I mean, a -2 and a 5-point loss. That's not bad by him. So Serge Ibaka getting it done, 3 of 7 from 3. Not terrible. But then we get to Paul George, folks. 16 points, 7 assists, 7 rebounds. That's decent. The 7 rebounds and 7 assists, 16 points is definitely light for a number 2 scorer against kind of one of the top tier teams in this league. And then look at this man's shooting percentage. He floundered, folks. 33% from the field and 2 of 10 from 3. Absolutely not great at all. So Paul George just couldn't be clutch. We saw him miss shot after shot at the end of the game. Man, oh man, playoff P is still here in the regular season. Not great. Patrick Beverley floundered too. I mean, 5 points, 2 assists, 3 rebounds on 25% shooting, 1 of 6 from 3. Somebody's please step it up here for this Clippers team. There is no reason. Kawhi Leonard, Paul George are well rested. Patrick Beverley, Lou Williams, Serge Ibaka, Marcus Morris, Zubac, Reggie Jackson, they all have gotten more play because of those 2 players resting. And so they have more experience kind of in the starting role and just kind of a predominant, hey, I need to score because we don't have our 2 stars in, and they still don't get it done. It's just truly, truly wild that they're still losing games. I don't get it. Lou Williams off the bench, 14 points, 4 assists in 24 minutes. Not bad. Marcus Morris, 11 points, 5 rebounds in 23 minutes. 36% shooting. I mean, he hit 3 of 8 from 3, so once again, not terrible, but definitely needed Paul George to step it up a little bit more. He couldn't, and they lose because of it. Truly unfortunate. All right, let's just take a look at this film real quick here for the Bucks and the Clippers. I mean, here we go. This is the last bucket that the Clippers scored in the game at 4:07 left in the game, up 98-96. Kawhi Leonard backing down. Connaughton shoots over him, drains it. That was their last make. That was their last point scored. The final 4 minutes of the game, they did not score a single point, folks. How truly unfortunate. While the Bucks are going from 96 to 105 in the last kind of 4 minutes of this game. So truly unfortunate. And just look at this, folks. Here it is. Not this one, but very well done. Swinging it around, able to find Giannis wide open for the dunk to tie it at 100 with 10 seconds left. I mean, it's just not great. Not great. So they hit a 3. They go up 3 now because of that big old dunk. Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, 10 seconds left to try and do something. Paul George takes the inbound, passes it to Kawhi Leonard, and look at the shot that Kawhi Leonard just puts up. I mean, first of all, it's a bad pass by Paul George. You still have about 7 seconds to do something. Kawhi Leonard picks up his dribble, kind of just shoots it a little flat-footed here, deep at the three-point line, but you still have 7 seconds. Reset a little bit, pass it back to Paul George, get the ball back, and then go to work with those final kind of 5 seconds after you get the ball back. But Kawhi Leonard throws up just kind of a careless shot there to try and tie the game. It's just, once again, folks, this is why we are 100% sold. We are off of this Clippers team, folks. We're over them. Super over them. I don't even know what they could do to try and get back into our good graces. Beat the Jazz 4 times in a row. Y'all don't even play them 4 times in a row, so you can't even do that. We'll see what they do after the All-Star break, but man, lackluster team there. All right, let's go to the Wizards and the Celtics now. Let's start here with kind of why the Wizards lost the game. So here we go. Game is 110-107. Washington with a 3-point lead with 19 seconds left. Jason Tatum drives to the bucket. Nice little reverse layup to bring them down 1, and then they have to go and kind of move the ball quickly. So Washington inbounds. Bradley Beal gets it. They draw the double team, and Bradley Beal steps out of bounds here. Turnover with 12 seconds left. Boston gets the final shot, down only 1 point here, and Jason Tatum goes to work. A nice hard layup that finishes over 2 defenders. That puts them up 1, and then Bradley Beal, who caused them to really lose the game, has a chance to go and win it. He gets double teamed again, can't do anything, has to shoot up a prayer, and it doesn't go in. So Bradley Beal really kind of hurting his team here down the stretch. And, he can say he's the best player on this team, but you're not the clutchest, because we just saw you blow this game when you had a nice kind of commanding lead with not a lot of time left. So super unfortunate by the Wizards. So let's start here with the Celtics. No Jaylen Brown here. And look at the people who step up. I mean, it's kind of crazy. But Jason Tatum, 31 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists on 54% shooting. He did shoot 3 of 10 from 3, so not great there, but still put up 31 points. We can get behind that. Daniel Theis takes it upon himself to be a double-digit scorer here, and he puts up 20 big old points and 9 rebounds on 72% shooting. What a big step up. I know we don't like Daniel Theis too much on the show, but hey, I mean, no Jaylen Brown. Points have to come from somewhere. I don't care who they come from, and Daniel Theis takes it upon himself to drop 20. So huge night by Daniel Theis. Absolutely magnificent. Tristan Thompson did not have a great night. 5 points, 13 rebounds. That's all great, but shooting 11%, 1 of 9 from the field. Not going to get it done. So now we know why Daniel Theis had a little bit of a better game there, because Tristan Thompson was kind of floundering all game. And then Kemba Walker steps it up decently here. 21 points, 8 assists, 5 rebounds on 41% shooting. But hey, putting up 21 points when they need it the most, we can get behind that. Everybody else was a little lackluster. So we had 3 players, 31, 20, and 21 points respectively. And everybody else, nobody else was in double digits through the bench or the starters. So a game that the Wizards definitely should have won. We know without Jaylen Brown, they're definitely lackluster, and if it wasn't for Daniel Theis, this would have been an ugly game all around. But they make the most of it. They escape with a win when one of their main people weren't playing, so we got to respect the Celtics for that. But now let's go to the Wizards. Let's see how their big three did. Bradley Beal, Russell Westbrook, and Burton's off the bench. Well, Bradley Beal dropped 46 big ones with 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 1 block on 55% shooting. So very well done by him. Just unfortunately the turnover at the end of the game that literally cost him. Russell Westbrook, 24 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists on 45% shooting, 1 of 5 from 3. So not great shooting the ball. Plus, he still had 5 turnovers. Unfortunate. We know he never gets that under control. And then Davis Bertans off the bench. You need to start respecting him if you're, a Wizards fan or root for the Wizards or bet on the Wizards. Davis Bertans is kind of the deciding factor whether they win the game or not, because, you can have Bradley Beal going off for 46 and Russell Westbrook going up for 24, but nobody else scores. I mean, Garrison Matthew in the starting lineup putting up 0 points. Moritz Wagner in the starting lineup putting up 0 points. Rui Hachimura in the starting lineup putting up 2 points. So the 2 players, the 2 starters put up 70 points. The other 3 starters put up 2. So you need production coming from somewhere else, and that's what Davis Bertans brings. So off the bench, 20 points, 2 assists, 2 rebounds on 55% shooting. So that's what we're talking about here. And then even Robin Lopez getting into the mix, 10 points and 3 rebounds off the bench as well. So well done by kind of the big 3 of Beal, Westbrook, and Bertans. Unfortunately, Bradley Beal just couldn't be clutch and stay in bounds. So Wizards lose by 1, but hey, they're still competitive, and we are still buying this Wizards team. We're not selling our Wizards stock because they lost 1 point against the Celtics. We're still decently buying into this Wizards team. All right, let's move on to the next matchup here. To the Knicks and the Pistons. And we'll start with the Knicks since they won the game. Julius Randle, leading scorer for the squad, 25 points, 6 assists, 8 rebounds, 2 steals, 1 block with only 1 turnover, and he shot 55% in 3 of 6 from 3. That's what we're talking about. And then RJ Barrett contributes 21 points, 3 assists, 5 rebounds on 61% shooting. So the 2 stars, kind of the 2 stars of the starting squad getting it done. But I mean, we did kind of forget Derrick Rose. Now that he is in the starting lineup, he's kind of their 3rd star here, and he had a decent night. 14 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds, a plus 17. I know it was a big old win, so the plus minus doesn't really matter too much in this situation. But 42% shooting, 2 of 3 from 3, 14 points, just being that 3rd option. That's all we kind of want to see from Derrick Rose in the starting lineup. So getting it done there. Nerlens Noel at the 5 here, 8 points, 3 steals, 2 assists, 11 rebounds on 80% shooting. Absolutely well done. And then Reggie Bullock to round out the starters, 9 points, 3 assists, 5 rebounds on 60% shooting. So a very well night by all the starters here, kind of doing what they're supposed to be doing on a night in, night out basis. And then we get some decent contributions off the bench. Alec Burks, 16 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds. Emmanuel Quickly, 12 points, 2 rebounds in 15 minutes, folks. That's what we're talking about. Yes, sir. So the starters get it done. The bench gets it done. And that's even without Taj Gibson. He didn't even play this game. So very well done. Very well done to the Knicks. I mean, could you imagine Karl Anthony Towns? You have Nerlens Noel coming off the bench with Emmanuel Quickly and freaking Obi Toppin and Alec Burks and all of them. I mean, this is what we're talking about, folks. Karl Anthony Towns. Woof. It'd make this team real great. Real great. Unfortunately, if they get Karl Anthony Towns, hopefully they don't have to get rid of Julius Randle or RJ Barrett. We really need the Knicks to just be like, hey, we'll give you the picks, but we really can't trade anybody here. We got to kind of keep this core if we want a chance to kind of go and make a decent run here this season. Alrighty, now we'll look at the Pistons. Alright, their 2 best players, obviously number 1 is Jeremy Grant here. Only 21 points and 8 rebounds, shooting 36% in 2 of 9 from 3, so not a great night by him, and nobody else steps it up. That's what we know about this Pistons team. Sadiq Bey, once again, he had, 2 good games, and that was really it. So Sadiq Bey, 10 points, 5 rebounds on 25% shooting, 2 of 8 from 3, so he doesn't get it done. We get, who is this? Savi. Oh my goodness. Mahalaluk. Not great. 0 points. 0-3, and he's a starter. Not for long, I'll say that. Mason Plumlee, 9 points, 5 rebounds, and then Dennis Smith Jr., 7 points, 4 assists, 7 rebounds. I'll give him those other stats, the 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 steals, and 1 block. But the 7 points on 27% shooting, that's what the Pistons lack, is scoring. Who's going to put up the points for us? If it's not Jeremy Grant, it's nobody, and that's exactly what we're seeing. We get Josh Jackson off the bench with 12 points and Wayne Ellington off the bench with 15, but if the starters are putting up very, very lackluster numbers here that we just read, it's not going to matter what's going to happen off the bench. So Knicks get the big old win here, 19-point win, beating the Pistons. All right, let's move on to the Heat and the Hawks now. No Jimmy Butler for the Heat, and they say no problem, no problem. So let's see who steps up. So since no Jimmy Butler in the starting lineup, they have Dragic at the 1, Kendrick Nunn at the 2, Duncan Robinson at the 3, and still Olynyk and Adebayo at the 4 and the 5. So Goran Dragic, 13 points, 3 assists, 4 rebounds, a little bit of a light night by him, especially from 3, 1 of 5. Kendrick Nunn, 24 points, 7 assists. Very well done by him. 4 of 8 from 3, so not bad there. And then Bam Adebayo, 16 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists. Just a complete game by him, which we know and are kind of accustomed to. Kelly Olynyk, not the greatest game. Once again, what we're kind of accustomed to. A -10 in the plus-minus in a win. Not great. 9 points, 5 rebounds, 1 of 5 from 3. Nothing great overall. And then Duncan Robinson, I mean, way to not step up into Jimmy Butler's place. I mean, in Duncan Robinson filling in for Jimmy Butler at the 3 here. 5 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds, 1 of 8 from 3, 22% overall shooting. I mean, do you expect Jimmy Butler to do that? So why are you doing that, Duncan Robinson? Duncan Robinson has been super not great this season. Can never count on him, never steps it up, even with Goran Dragic out. Now no Jimmy Butler, and Duncan Robinson still does not step it up. Frustrating. Alrighty, off the bench, Tyler Hero, 14 points, 4 assists, 2 rebounds. Precious Achiuwa off the bench. Never called his name before, but, you know, no Jimmy Butler. They got to pull out all the stops here. So him off the bench, 14 points and 7 rebounds on 80% shooting. That's not bad in only 12 minutes. All right. We may have found somebody here. Precious Achiuwa. Sure, I'm butchering his name. A rookie here. All righty. Maybe he could play. He's also 6'8". All right. All right. Maybe we can get behind Precious here. Not bad. All right, but there's really no reason why this Hawks team should have lost, so let's kind of see why. Trae Young, this is kind of why right here. This is why we found it right here. Trae Young, 15 points. He did have 9 assists and 8 rebounds. That's good, but 25% shooting from 3, 21% shooting from the field. That's not great. So let him down a little bit in the scoring in a close loss here. I mean, 10 points is still a little close, so especially when you didn't even put up 100 points. All right, Kevin Huerter, 13 points, 6 steals. Holy moly. Very well done for that. 4 assists, 4 rebounds, 1 of 9 from 3, though. Unfortunate. They did not shoot the 3 ball well at all. 22% from shooting the 3. Oh, my goodness. 8 of 35 as a team. Jesus. Clint Capella, classic Clint Capella game. 20 points, 14 rebounds, 9 of those rebounds offensive. Super disappointed that this team couldn't win. Now, John Collins did step it up a little bit. 34 points, 10 rebounds. Very well done. 2 of 3 from 3, 62% overall. It's just unfortunate. Trae Young couldn't get it done, and they don't have that kind of extra player to get it done, either off the bench or in the starting lineup. Tony Snell putting up only 8 points, and then look at this off the bench. Their leading scorer off the bench was Danilo Gallinari, who could have went for a lot more. He only had 6 points, 2 assists, and 4 rebounds, but he shot 0 of 7 from 3 and 20% from the field overall. I mean, talk about not stepping it up. This is a game that the Hawks really should have won and needed to win, and they didn't, and that's why we are still not buying this Hawks team. Besides Clint Capella and Trae Young, nobody steps it up. Yes, John Collins had a good game this game, but, I mean, that's kind of hit and miss by him. And then Danilo Gallinari not stepping it up off the bench as well. I mean, that's just getting a little tiresome as well, so unfortunate what's going on with this Hawks team. They need to try to make a run at somebody at the trade deadline if they want a chance to kind of be a playoff contender this season. If not, they won't, and we'll talk about them next year. But they got to do something here in the All-Star break to figure it out. Alrighty, moving on to Memphis and the Rockets. We can go over this one quickly because the Rockets got absolutely destroyed by 50 big old points. The leading scorer was John Wall and Deshaun Tate, both with 14 points. That tells you everything you need to know. No Victor Oladipo in this game. Doesn't matter if he played or not, honestly. They still would have lost. So John Wall, 14 points. No assists, no rebounds. What are you doing out there? Oh, my goodness. Yeah, you can talk shit and saying, quote, this shit is ass, terrible. But you not getting anybody else involved, I mean, you could have done more, obviously. So super garbage performances by literally everybody on this team. Not one person had a good game here. Not one. Not one. I'm not even going to read all these stats. These are all trash. It's literally all trash, folks. They shot 27% as a team. As a team, they shot 27%. We're not going to waste our time on them. We're not going to waste our time on them. Let's waste some of our time here on the Grizzlies. John Morant, 6 points, 7 assists, and y'all still lose to that? He shot 2 of 8 from the field. Oh, my goodness. Desmond Bane, 15.7 rebounds. Jonas Valanciunas, 6.6 rebounds. Only played 12 minutes. Kyle Anderson, 13 points, 5 rebounds. Dylan Brooks, 8 points, 2 assists. I mean, light night from the starters because they only probably played one quarter and was like, oh, we're blowing out this team from the rip. Let's all, get an early break here. That's why we have so many great contributions off the bench here. Brandon Clark, 16 points, 12 rebounds in 20 minutes off the bench. DeAnthony Melton, 14 points, 5 rebounds, 4 steals. Holy moly, 5 assists, 4 steals off the bench in 22 minutes. Justice Winslow, 20 points, 2 assists, 3 rebounds in 20 minutes off the bench. Tyus Jones, 13 points, 2 assists, 2 steals, 2 assists, 5 rebounds in only 16 minutes off the bench. Georgie Dieng, 12 points, 3 rebounds in 8 minutes off the bench. I mean, folks. Trash game by the Rockets. Trash. All right, let's go to the Lakers and Warriors. Kind of a late, very not great night by this Warriors team as well. Lakers got out to a hot start and just kept it for the rest of the game. So, I mean, LeBron James only played 24 minutes, and it was like a 30-point win. Big old win for the Lakers here. LeBron James, 19 points, 4 assists, 6 rebounds. Markieff Morris, 13 points, 4 assists, 8 rebounds. So we get Markieff Morris in the starting lineup here. I want to see Montrezl Harrell. Get that man in the starting lineup. Marc Gasol, 9 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. KCP, 9 points, 5 rebounds. Dennis Schroeder, 12 points, 6 assists. Didn't shoot well, 33% from the field and 0 of 3 overall, but we get some decent bench contributions because they played a lot more minutes. Not as great bench contributions that we just read off by the Grizzlies, but decent, I would say. Alex Caruso, 13 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds. 20 minutes off the bench. Kyle Kuzma, 12 points, 11 rebounds, 20 minutes off the bench. Montrezl Harrell only played 11 minutes, 6 points, 3 rebounds. He's getting a little disrespected. Got to see this man play a lot more. All right, what else do we get? Nothing else great? All right, nothing else great. Let's go to the Warriors now. Draymond Green left. He did not return after halftime, unfortunately. Steph Curry, 16 points, 7 assists. Not a big old night by him. Kelly Oubre Jr., 14 points, 5 rebounds. He shot 60%, so that's good, but still should be putting up a lot more points, especially with this Warriors team struggling. Kelly Oubre Jr. needs to be the person that, hey, nobody else is scoring the ball. That means I have to do it then. If Curry's not doing it, if Draymond Green's not out there, if Andrew Wiggins is not having a great night, Kelly Oubre Jr. just needs to start demanding the ball a little bit more. He only played 25 minutes, so, I mean, they kind of called this one a loss early on, unfortunately. And then Andrew Wiggins, I mean, not a great night by him, unfortunately. 3 points, 2 rebounds. We usually could count on him, but just not a great night by really anybody on this team. So the Warriors, or the Lakers, get a nice, easy win. All right, Suns and Timberwolves. Start with the Suns since they won. Chris Paul, 11 points, 15 assists. Magnificent. Yeah, truly magnificent. 62% shooting from the field as well. Devin Booker, 43 big ones. Holy moly. 43 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds, and he only shot 1 of 6 from 3, so that's pretty dang good as well. DeAndre Ayton, 22 points, 10 rebounds. So the big three here doing what they're supposed to do, and then they got a great contribution from Dario Saric off the bench, providing 13 points off the bench. Frank Kaminsky back in the starting lineup here, 9 points. And McCall Bridges, 9 points, 7 rebounds in the starting lineup as well. So Suns, all the starters getting it done. Very well done. Now the Timberwolves, Karl Anthony Towns, 21 points, 10 rebounds on 43% shooting. Anthony Edwards, he stepped it up this game. 24 points, led the team in scoring, 5 rebounds. He did not shoot well. 36% shooting on 22 shots. So, not great by Anthony Edwards. Taking a lot of shots from a lot of other players. That's why nobody else could really score the ball, because Anthony Edwards was just chucking them up. So the third leading scorer was off the bench, Jake Lyman, with 11 points, and nobody else had double digits. So not great here by the Timberwolves. They need to start to figure it out. Anthony Edwards needs to be a little bit more efficient so other players can get more points, so you guys can be a little decently competitive. But Suns win 118-99. And then the last game of the night, the Hornets and the Kings, and all we really have to show you is this kind of final possession by the Hornets. Now, the Kings have a 1-point lead here because of this made free throw. Or a 2-point lead now because of this made free throw. He ends up splitting the free throws at the line, unfortunately. So it's only a 2-point lead and not a 3-point lead. Now the Hornets, they're inbounding the ball down 2 with 10 seconds left. LaMelo Ball is pushing it up the floor. Give it up to Malik Monk. He dribbles, has these, then dribbles again, driving to the paint, gets the bucket to fall, and one. Let's watch this one more time because I don't believe this was really worthy of an and one. Maybe an and one in kind of, the first 3 quarters, but here in the fourth quarter down the stretch, it's a big old body bump in the air. I get it, but I swallow the whistle here, especially since he made the bucket. Just had it have to go into overtime. Don't ruin the game now at the free throw line. So don't love the and one there, but the Hornets win, and I did kind of want that to happen. So I guess we win, I guess. P.J. Washington had an absolutely fantastic game. 42 huge points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks on 65% shooting, and 5 of 8 from 3. A masterful night by him. And he was still a -5 in this game, just really pulling out just enough to win the game. All right, LaMelo Ball, 24 points, 12 assists, 4 rebounds on 58% shooting. This is what I want to see on a nightly basis. This is the stat line I want to see. 24 points, 12 assists. Yes, sir. Very well done. Terry Rozier, 8 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds on 22% shooting. He did not have a great night, 2 of 9. Bismack Biyombo at the 5 here, since no Cody Zeller in the starting lineup, unfortunately. So Bismack Biyombo, 6 points, 4 rebounds on 66% shooting. And then Jalen McDaniels to round out the starters, 4 points on 33% shooting. And then off the bench, great contributions. I mean, Malik Monk, 21 points, game-winning bucket, game-winning free throw, 4 assists, 5 rebounds. Very well done. And he shot 0 of 7 from 3 and was still able to put up 21 points. So not bad there. And then Miles Bridges, 13 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists. Very well done. And Cody Martin off the bench as well. We'll shout him out. 9 points, 3 assists in 80% shooting. So great night, huge night by P.J. Washington, great night by LaMelo, great night off the bench, and everybody else doing pretty decent. So great win by the Hornets. They go and beat the Kings. Let's see what they did. De'Aaron Fox, 20 points, 14 assists. Buddy Hield, 30 points, 7 assists, 8 of 15 from 3. So he actually finally got back on track here. We've been seeing a couple of lackluster nights by Buddy Hield over the past couple of games here. He finally has a good game, and unfortunately they lose at the buzzer, unfortunately. Raquan Holmes, 13 points, 8 rebounds. Marvin Bagley, 24 points, 10 rebounds. Harrison Barnes, 28 points, 6 assists, 6 rebounds. I mean, folks, everybody in the starting lineup had an absolute great night. Just truly unfortunate the ref blew that whistle at the end. They did end up they had like an 8-point lead in the final minute of this game as well. So, I mean, it's not all the ref's fault for the Kings losing this game, but truly just an unfortunate loss here by the Kings. I mean, this could have been a performance where they kind of finally get back on track. We saw this kind of these last 10 games by them being very, very not great, but they could have gotten back on track here before those 10 games of where they were kind of decently trending up. This could have been the game. We'll see if they're able to kind of, replicate this performance all around next performance, or if they kind of flounder. They're like, man, we all played good and we still lost. That could be demoralizing. So we'll see if what they come out and look like in their next game. But, yeah, Kings, truly, truly unfortunate loss. What a great, I mean, this is fantastic work here, honestly, by everybody in the starting lineup. Truly unfortunate that they lost this game. Damn. But very well done on the Hornets, sticking with it, never giving up, playing to the final whistle. We got to shout that out as well. Alrighty, that was all the NBA from last night. So let's see what's on deck today. Any nationally televised games? Let's see what we get. Magic, Mavericks, 76ers, Pacers, Bulls, Nuggets, Pelicans, Jazz, Spurs, Nets, Rockets, Cavs, Blazers, Hornets. Ooh, we might be taking the Cavs here tonight, folks, since they're facing the Rockets. Unfortunately, no nationally televised games. So that's a little disappointing. Everything's on NBA TV or League Pass. Alrighty, so let's update these lines. As we said, our moneymaker went 2 of 3 yesterday. Let's get 100%. We've been losing by 1. Super annoying. So let's get it all good to go here. Let's find the value, folks. Let's find the value. So here we go. First game up, Mavericks, Magic. Magic plus 6.5. Mavericks minus 6.5. Gonna stay away from this one because I do not trust the Magic with any points really at all. And this Mavericks team, they obviously got Luka and Kristaps Porzingis. Porzingis is a game time decision. We'll see if he plays. He played the last game, so I would assume he probably plays this one. For the Magic, James Ennis is out. And that is it. So Aaron Gordon is still out as well, obviously. So we're going to stay away from this one. No great value either way. Maybe we'll come back and take the Mavericks minus 6.5 if there's no great value elsewhere. But, yeah, we'll stay away from that game. Pacers, 76ers. Ooh, 76ers minus 4.5. If everybody's good to go, we'll swallow that. We know this Pacers team, they do not fare well against the better teams, especially better teams that have great bigs. I mean, Joel Embiid is going to eat all over this team. I mean, Miles Turner's not going to be able to stop him. So, out for the Pacers. Jeremy Lamb, a game-time decision. Malcolm Brogdon, a game-time decision as well. And then Tobias Harris, a game-time decision, and Joel Embiid, a game-time decision. Alrighty. Let's see if we get any update on them because I do really kind of want to take the 76ers minus 4.5. Definitely need Joel Embiid. Tobias Harris, if he's out, it's not great, but we'll still take it. So let's see if we get anything by NBA Fantasy Labs on Twitter. We get any notes here. No, we're not getting anything. Unfortunate. Nothing. All right, we're going to assume that both those players are going to play, and we're going to take them minus 4.5 here. 76ers minus 4.5. The Pacers, folks, we don't trust them at all. Trust them 0. 0, 0, 0. All right, let's move on here. Jazz, Pelicans. Jazz minus 7. Pelicans plus 7. Not bad here. Pelicans at home, they really just can't close out games. That's the one knock that we have on the Pelicans. Everybody's good to go for the Jazz, and J.J. Redick's a game-time decision for the Pelicans. I think, unfortunately, we are going to have to stay away from this game. This Jazz team, obviously the best team in the league. Pelicans, they're a good squad, don't get us wrong, but they can't close out games. They lose games in the fourth quarter. So Pelicans plus 7 is a little decently appetizing here, but at the end of the day, got to start to see them start to win some of these games to have us a little bit more confident in them. So we'll take this game off. We'll use this game to help us win bets later down the road, but we'll stay away from Pelicans Jazz minus 7. All right, then we get Nuggets and Bulls. Bulls plus 4.5 here. Nuggets minus 4.5 here. Let's see if Paul Millsap is back in this starting lineup here. Paul Millsap is still out. Gary Harris is still out. Not great. Now for the Bulls, Otto Porter Jr., Lauri Markkanen, and Chandler Hutchinson, a game-time decision. So kind of the usual suspects out for the Bulls. Bulls plus 4.5. We have been kind of trending upwards on them. We just put them in the top 10. Not ready to take 4.5. Close spread here against definitely a better team than them, the Nuggets. So once again, I think we'll come back to this one. Nuggets minus 4 isn't bad. Nuggets minus 4 isn't bad. Oh, man. All right, let's come back to this one. Let's round out what we got here. Nets, Spurs, Nets minus 5. All right, is everybody good to go for this one? Yes. Kyrie's good to go. James Harden is good to go for the Spurs. Rudy Gay is still out. Derek White is out. Not great for that. So, yes, whatever. We'll swallow the 5 here for the Nets. They are clearly the better team here. They're better than really most teams here as long as, Kyrie and James Harden are both playing. Even without Kyrie, they're still pretty much a top-notch team. But swallowing 5 for the Nets, we're fine with that. We've got no problem with that. So Nets -5, we're taking it. Cavs, Rockets, Cavs +1.5. If everybody's good for them, yes sir. So here we go. For the Cavs, Kevin Love is out, Matthew Dellavedova is out, Larry Nance Jr. is out, Andre Drummond is out, C.D. Osman is a game-time decision. So all those players have been outs for basically the entire season. So kind of all right there. Now for the Rockets, Victor Oladipo and John Wall should be playing. So, but I mean, at the end of the day, Cavs are, better than the Rockets. This Rockets team is a dumpster fire, and Jared Allen will be eating all night over the Rockets. So Cavs will take them plus the 1.5 here. And then the last game of the night, Hornets, Blazers. Hornets +6.5. Blazers -6.5. Let's see what Gordon Hayward, game-time decision. Cody Zeller, game-time decision for the Hornets. And then for the Blazers, everybody's good to go. The usual suspects are out. McCollum, Nurkic, Zach Collins. Classic stuff over there. So we're going to stay away from this one as well, just because of how well the Hornets played down the stretch of last night's game. They might be able to carry it over to this one. So we're going to stay away from this because we've got 3 better plays, in our opinion, in our kind of moneymaker already. So 76ers -4.5, Nets -5, Cavs +1.5. That's what we're rocking with tonight, folks. All right, now let's head over to our main topic of today, our NFL draft prospect of the day. We are currently on day 15 of our 73-day countdown up until the NFL draft, looking at a prospect every day to get us ready. Who should our teams be taking? And should our teams be taking today's NFL draft prospect, which is Mac Jones, quarterback of Alabama, finally getting around to this man. Cannot wait to break down this man's stats and highlight tape because he had a real great season this season, and I want to see how he's looking. So we'll break down his stats, look at some film, and decide how well he's looking. Is he looking better than the other quarterbacks that we've already looked at? We've looked at Trevor Lawrence, and I think we've looked at one other quarterback so I'm blanking on. Unfortunate, but we'll see if he should be drafted. So here we go. Mac Jones, quarterback. He's 6'3", 214. Not bad height there at 6'3". All right, 3 seasons at Alabama, freshman season. Obviously, he only had 13 passing attempts, so we knew he wasn't playing then. Then in 2019, got a couple more throws, 141 passing attempts, so played a couple of games. He did play 11 games. Let's see how many games he started in 2019. If it will load. Here we go. All right, game started in 2019. Do they not say? He's got probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 probably starts. All right, so obviously not a full season there. And then 2020 was his first full season, his lone full season. 13 games played, 77% completion percentage, which is absolutely magnificent. 4,500 yards, once again, absolutely magnificent. 41 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 10-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. Once again, absolutely folks, these stats are absolutely wild, folks. Absolutely wild. So let's go a little bit deeper into these 2020 stats. Let's see how he's let's see how he's looking against kind of the better teams, because we know it's kind of all interconference, and the SEC, the division that Alabama's in, not great overall. And then we do like to take bowl games heavy into account on what you could do. So all right, against Georgia early on, 75% completion percentage, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick, 417 yards, and got the win. So we'll take that against a good Georgia team. All right, against Auburn a little bit later in the season, 69% completion percentage, 302 yards, 5 touchdowns, no picks. Against LSU, 71% completion percentage, 85 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks, no multiple pick games at all throughout the entire season. Absolutely magnificent as well. Never lost a game this season as a starter, 13-0. And now let's start talking about their bowl games. Against Florida for the SEC championship game, 76% completion percentage, 418 yards, 5 touchdowns, 1 pick. Absolutely magnificent. Then in the first round of the playoffs against Notre Dame, 83% completion percentage, 297 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. And then in the championship game against Ohio State, 80% completion percentage, 464 yards, 5 touchdowns, no picks. I mean, folks, this is absolutely fantastic, folks. These stats are all magnificent. I would say flawless stats. Flawless stats. He had 4 interceptions. I'll live by that for the entire season. Now, we did throw 1 pick against Florida, but in the grand scheme of things, I still think they blew him out a little bit. What was the final score here? Oh, no, kind of close. So, yeah, the interception, not the greatest here in this game, of kind of when it came. Let's see when it came. Can we get that? And let's see if it was a pick 6. All right, it wasn't a pick 6, which is great, and we're not going to be able to kind of get when that interception came, unfortunately. A little unfortunate there, but it wasn't a pick 6, so not bad where that pick was. But still, he answered, with 5 touchdowns, 418 yards, even with the pick. So not bad overall there in that game, but just very, very well done overall for this entire season. Now, I mean, he does have great wide receiver weapons, folks. I mean, we're talking about Devonte Smith. We're talking about Waddle, and I think there's one more as well. So let's get it to the roster here. These receivers, here we go. Devonte Smith, Jalen Waddle. I mean, folks, these are 2 big old names here that we've been talking about. I mean, Devonte Smith alone had 1,800 yards. So he's definitely working with some extreme talent here in the Alabama kind of weapons department. Now, and plus, once again, this was the COVID season, so how much does this kind of affect what Mac Jones is doing? Because it's really just one lone great season. Didn't play really too much in 2018, played a little bit in 2019, and was still pretty good, 68% completion percentage, 1,500 yards, 14 touchdowns, 3 picks. So once again, not terrible overall, pretty good in those small amount of games that he played, but that 2020 season is just absolutely perfect. So the stats are all looking good by this man. One lone season of fully starting the entire season, and he made it work. So we're going to look at his 2020 highlights, what he's doing, what are the throws he's making, and then if we need to watch anything else, we're going to watch the Rose Bowl game against Notre Dame, the first round of the playoffs here of this season, to kind of just get a totality of what he's looking in kind of an entire game scenario, a huge game that matters game scenario, not just looking at highlights. So we'll kind of follow him around here just in the offensive portion of these highlights and kind of seeing what Mac Jones is doing. So let's start here with the highlights first. Let's get jazzed. Let's get pumped about this man. Let's see what this man can do. Here we go. Quarterback Mac Jones from Alabama, 6'3", 214. Alrighty, first play. Going a little deep here, and that's what we're talking about. This receiver, absolutely magnificent, beating the defender, and then Mac Jones goes and just lays it right out perfectly. A beautiful little bit of a rainbow floater for about 30 yards, exactly where the ball needs to be on a one-on-one matchup. Fantastic. All right, once again. Oh, yes, sir. I think I remember this highlight when we were looking at Jacob Waddle. Here he is, 2 defenders right on him, and Mac Jones just lays it out beautifully. Back of the end zone, 2 feet down, 30, probably 40-yard completion right there for the 10 yards in the back of the end zone, but just laying it out exactly where it has to be. Here it is. I remember this highlight, too, against Jacob Waddle again, where we looked at him just beating the defender right there. This is what we're talking about. I mean, these receivers are really great, maybe elevating Mac Jones' play a little bit because, I mean, defender just falls right there. Yeah, he puts it right on the money, but still, I mean, that wide receiver just burnt that defender. So great ball by Mac Jones. We're not going to knock you for doing what you're supposed to do, but we are going to take into account that you had extremely great wide receivers. Alrighty, going deep. Once again, Devonte Smith wide open. I mean, clearly, what is this? 2-yard separation between the receiver and the defender, and we're talking about Heisman winner wide receiver right here. So, yeah, Mac Jones once again puts it right on the money here. Nice little pump fake, then just airs it out because the one thing that's great about this is that he does recognize exactly when the throw is going to be open. He's testing testing the defense, getting the ball to his wide receivers, and we get another play right here, kind of the same same exact one here, but this one, once again, just same exact play that we just saw here. Devonte Smith, 3-yard separation this time between the defender. Mac Jones lays it right on him. Absolutely perfect. I mean, the deep ball accuracy is absolutely fantastic. These receivers are all like 2 yards, multiple steps ahead of these defenders, and Mac Jones is laying it right on the money, which is great, but at the same time, is he going to be able to do this in the NFL? Because there's not going to be this much separation in the NFL. That's what Tua's problem was this season, not knowing what is truly open in the NFL. Once again, 2 steps, a step and a half on this defender, and Mac Jones goes and lays it out absolutely beautifully to the wide receiver, who then just goes and runs it in for the touchdown for 50 yards. But he's throwing it from the 15 all the way down to the 40. So good, about 45-yard completion there, and it's just beautifully thrown. I mean, these are greatly thrown balls here, folks. Don't get us wrong, but they are with fantastic talent that can beat the defender right off the rip, or just outrun him right down the field. And just another one. All these throws. I mean, yes, they're great to kind of get pumped about, and these are absolutely fantastic throws. But he's going to Metcalf the second. He's going to Metcalf the second. He's going to Devonte Smith. He's going to Jalen Waddle. I mean, all these wide receivers are pretty much going to be the top wide receivers drafted in this class. I mean, just a talent. I mean, look at this throw. 15 yards wide open, folks. 15 yards wide open. So, yes, it's right on the money. Yes, what is he throwing it from the 30-yard line all the way down to the 25-yard line? So, what do we get there? 20, 25, 45 yards. It's absolutely beautifully thrown, but it's wide open. I mean, look at this defense. He's literally sprinting all out, and the defense is flat-footed trying to jump the route. What is this safety doing? Look at this man in the middle of the field. We'll try to point him out right here. Here he is right here. You get this wide receiver full sprinting, and this safety tries to jump the route. What route are you jumping? The man's on a full sprint here. Jumps the route, and then the receiver's just able to get right behind him. That's what we're saying, when everything is interconference here because of, the COVID situation, you're not going to get great defenses, especially with Alabama. They're not in their great division alone. And once again, Devonte Smith, wide open. This one's 10 yards, 5, 7, whatever you want to call it, but it's wide open. Man, I don't want to knock Mac Jones, but these are all wide open. All right, once again, going deep against Missouri, wide open. No, not wide open, but great receiver, great catch, because this is tough. I mean, this is a great catch by Jalen Waddle. Once again, I mean, this man's fantastic. He's only 5'8", folks. How crazy? 5'10", not 5'8". 5'10", and he's just absolutely going up and getting it. Fantastic. All right, back of the end zone. Who is that? Devonte Smith, one-handed. Yes, sir. Let's see the ball placement. Fantastic. I mean, kind of a one-on-one scenario in the back of the end zone, so I do like the ball placement of Mac Jones on that one. Now we're starting to see a little bit of tighter throwing here. Love seeing this. Tight coverage, back of the end zone, able to flick it in there quickly. We'll get a great angle here from the back. Ooh, yeah, that's a tight throw. Got it in there. Love seeing that. Now we can start kind of cheering on Mac Jones a little bit, as long as all these aren't wide open. He's going deep again. Oh, we're back to the wide open. Receiver just beats the defender right there. Defender ends up falling down. He puts this ball right before the safety comes over, and that's a great throw right there. Little wide open. Now against LSU, wide open again. 3-yard separation. Devonte Smith. You cannot cover this man. Here we go. Mac Jones going again. Is this the same play? Is this the same play? Same outcome. Devonte Smith beating the defender. I think this was the same play. Yeah. Why are we showing the same play twice in the same exact format? But yeah, I mean, just wide open. Wide open. Great ball placement, but wide open. All right, here we go. In the red zone. Hopefully a little bit tighter here. There we go. Yes, sir. One-on-one jump ball. Devonte Smith over the defender in the back of the end zone. That's what we're talking about here. Let's see the ball placement one more time. High and away. High and away. Yes, sir. Bingo, bango. Perfect ball placement there in the red zone. All right, from the 50, is he going to go deep against Tennessee's defense? He is. And ooh, this one's tight. This one's tight. If the safety coming over was a little bit better and found the ball, possibly a pick or a breakup, but we'll give him credit since it was a completion. Now he's back in the red zone, waiting patiently, and then Devonte Smith finally opens up against the Kentucky defense coming all along the back of the end zone there, and he puts it decently there right on him. I mean, just the buying time, the aspect, this was great. Let's watch it one more time here. Just buying time, not touch, not pressure, just keeping his eyes down the field. And then when he has to make the throw, finally finds somebody open and delivers an absolute strike to the back of the end zone to force that ball in there very quickly. Decently thrown. Just looks like it got right past that outstretched hand to the defender. So great pass there. Now here we go, corner of the end zone coming back against Notre Dame. This is a game we are going to be looking at, so maybe we don't if we're getting highlights here in this package. But great job there. Receiver working back in the corner of the end zone, gets it right on him. All right, little bit of an underthrow here. Receiver kind of has to not keep going as fast as he's going. Has to kind of outstretch his hands all the way back, but the ball still gets there. Pressured a little bit here on this throw as well. Not really stepping up into it, but from this angle, this is actually kind of really great. From this angle, this throw is actually really very well done. All right, so this throw was actually very well done. Another angle, new perspective. It's fantastic. Yes, sir. We'll give it to him. All right, against Florida. Wide open. Once again. Wide open. 10-yard wide open. Woof. Devonte Smith. This man is nice. All right. All right. Here we go against Notre Dame again. Devonte Smith crossing route and then just beats everybody to the corner to the end zone. Yes, sir. All right. From his own end zone. Here we go. Going deep. Yes, sir. Little underthrown here. Throwing it about 35 yards there. And then you're going to Devonte Smith, who tries to do the double move. Yeah, just a little underthrown. I mean, if he puts this right on the money, this is a touchdown for 100 yards. I mean, this is a 100-yard touchdown right here, folks. Tad underthrown. But it's still a catch. Devonte Smith goes up, high points the ball. Fantastic catch. Comes down with it. All right, going down deep again. Wide open. 3-yard separation. Devonte Smith. So it's a little nerve-wracking for me to just call it for this man right now, folks. Truly, got to see how he's working kind of in tighter scenarios. Devonte Smith, end zone right here, one-on-one coverage. I mean, these are great wide receivers who can get separation. Obviously, as we're seeing all in these highlight packages. Once again, 3-yard separation. He's putting the ball right on the money where it needs to be, but these are wide open, folks. Wide open. This is not going to be wide open. Nearly this wide open in the NFL. It's not going to be anything like this, folks. So not sure how he's really going to translate here so far. We'll finish out these highlights going deep against Tennessee again. That's a great throw. This is a good tight throw right here. We'll give him this one. Tight coverage, safety coming over the middle, and he puts it right on the money, drops it right before that safety can go over there. And the receiver just stays on his feet. Doesn't get hit down, but still, this is a great throw right here. Fantastic throw. Let's count the yards on this one. Throwing it from the 25-yard line, getting it all the way down to the 30-yard line. So about 45 yards, perfectly thrown. All right, against Missouri here. Yeah, pretty wide open. I mean, 2-3 steps on him. Jalen Waddle able to get behind the defense. Right on the money. Wide open. Ooh, here we go. Standing in the pocket, taking an absolute shot here. And then delivering an open ball to Devonte Smith, who avoids one tackle and then brings it all the way down to the sideline for the touchdown. But this is a great throw right here. Little bit of an option. He could throw it right here to the wide receiver screen or the crossing route guy. He throws it to the crossing route guy, stays in there last second, delivers a ball, takes a decent hit there, and lets Devonte Smith just do it all there. Alrighty, in the red zone here. Let's get a tight throw here. Yes! Here we go. Gets it right over this defender right here. Just enough to get it over that linebacker who gets his hands up right here. And Devonte Smith, nice separation. We'll get a beautiful angle right. Oh, my goodness. Look how tight that is. Look how close this is of being tipped. This guy right here. Ooh. Ooh, maybe tipped in the NFL with those taller linebackers, but we'll give him the credit for this throw. Back of the end zone, wide open over Notre Dame. Dropping back, clean pocket. Why, dude, this is like 20 yards wide open against LSU. What are these defenses doing here? 20 yards wide open in the end zone. I mean, easy. Alrighty, so don't want to knock him too much here, but a lot of these throws were wide open, folks. So don't know how he's going to translate in the NFL with not great tier 1 wide receivers. Jacob Waddle, Metcalf the second. Devonte Smith, Heisman winner, 1,800 yards alone himself. So, Mac Jones, the numbers, it's looking great, folks. Don't get too bogged down by those numbers. Try not to get bogged down by this tape as well, because it's all great, but it's all wide open stuff here, folks. So, Mac Jones, quarterback. The stats alone should be good enough for a first-round pick at the quarterback spot. But don't be surprised if this man's going to flounder in the NFL. I mean, no real tight throws there. All wide open. Maybe you just give it to the receivers. Maybe the receivers carried this man. Maybe like a Kirk Cousins, where we kind of see Stephon Diggs carrying Kirk Cousins. And we saw, Josh Allen elevates his play his first year that Stephon Diggs gets in there. So we'll see. The accuracy is great. The deep ball is great. I think we maxed out maybe 50 yards on the deep ball. Didn't see anything really too much deeper than that. We've seen 55 yards by everybody else that we've been looking at the quarterback position. So I don't know what we do about Mac Jones, folks. I think it's a true gamble there. Not really sure how he's going to play in the NFL and how he's going to really translate. Alrighty, that's going to do it for us today here. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. We'll be back tomorrow live with a new draft prospect of the day and possibly March Madness. I got to figure out when that official date starts, and especially when all those brackets come out and stuff, because we will be doing that day one. When as soon as those brackets come out, we're on to March Madness. So we'll be doing that whenever that comes out, and still breaking down NFL draft prospects. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Back tomorrow noon Eastern. We'll see you tomorrow.